Fire.
Fire. You're on.
Recording.
You on?
Yes.
Negative K, nothing further, just Kitty Candy in the corner. That's a direct order. Do it now.
All right. Good afternoon. Today is Thursday, March the 12th, 2026. We are roll call. Black, White, and Blue for Better Relations. I'm here with a few of my friends. I got D, I got Cheech, I got Jamel, I got Will, JT, Jerry, Rich, Ty, Derek, Dave, Kyle, and Mark. We got a full house today. We have a show planned for you, and we're gonna get started in a second. D, let's get started with our intro. All right. We didn't see any of the photos, D. We just heard the music and the sound, but we didn't see any of the fallen officers. But we're gonna have our disclaimer coming from Jamel and our statement of purpose coming from Rich. You're on mute, Jamel.
Thank you, Donald. The comments express concerns made by members of the roll call Black, White, and Blue for Better Relations panel are the opinions of the individuals and not offered or intended to be legal advice, recommendations, or suggestions for listeners and observers. This panel may display graphic videos or photographs that are integral to or spark discussion. These videos or photographs are not intended to offend any viewer or listener. A panel member will give notice to the audience as to its nature prior to displaying any graphic or sensitive video or photograph. Any graphic content displayed during the panel discussion has been obtained and shared from public social media platforms and is not the property of roll call. The language used by members of roll call and guests is spontaneous, it is uncensored, and not intended to offend the audience.
Thank you, Jamel. Rich?
Good afternoon. Once again, we're Roll Call Black, White, and Blue for Better Relations. We're a pro-law enforcement group. We're for equitable policing. We're against racism, and Black and Brown Lives Matter. We come to you each week in an attempt to bridge the gap between law enforcement and your community. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Jamel. Listen, before we go any further, I have a list of people, but I'm in my car driving right now. But we're still praying for JT and his wife. It's good to see you, JT. We're praying for Orlando. We're praying for you, Cheech, and your wife Anna. Dave, we're still praying for you. Today we're praying for you too, Will. Yesterday was your mother's heavenly birthday. Yesterday was my granddaughter's 6th birthday, and my oldest daughter got a birthday on March 16th. Her birthday is coming up.
Tragic death of a beloved Georgia community.
Derek, we're still praying for Deirdre, you and Deirdre. Somebody's coming through. You got it coming through, D. But we're praying for all your families, but I call out those names specifically because of that's what's going on right now. And happy birthday to Will's sister today, right? Today, we're praying for happy birthday to your sister. Anyone else that I'm missing? Am I missing anything else?
Jamel's brother's heavenly birthday.
Jamel's heavenly brother's heavenly birthday was today.
Today, yes, thank you, Cheech.
Man, listen, that's got to be something else. But we're praying for them as well. Today is also, now that you said it, would have been my son's 10th year in my fraternity.
Wow.
He crossed over 2016 on March 12th. Today is also the day I had my angiogram to find out I had a heart condition.
Oh, wow.
That's back in 2012, I think. But listen, God is good. Today, because I am driving right now, Cheech is going to lead us today. Can y'all believe that? Cheech ran to the mic. I mean, I was picking somebody else, and Cheech was like, "Oh no," and took over. So Cheech is in your hands, and I'm going to be monitoring it from this vehicle, but it's in your hands, Cheech.
All right, thank you, Donald.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes,
before you continue. Yes, it might have been a little oversight, but we just want to send our prayers out to Donald and Reggie's alma mater, Old Dominion University. They had an active shooter out there today, and to our knowledge, some people were injured. So our prayers go out to the family and our faculty out there in Old Dominion University.
Thank you so much, Jamel. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Jamel. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I also wanted to add real quick a couple of people that passed away this week. As a lot of you know, most of us here are from the village of Hempstead. So we did lose Henry Holly, who was a village trustee, and he owned a limousine company in Hempstead. His son is also a Hempstead officer. Also, Sal Ramis passed away. He was the first Latino to open up a bodega in Hempstead on Main Street, and he worked for DPW for many years before he retired to Florida. So we extend our heartfelt condolences to their families. And me as a firefighter, today is 9 years is Ferdinand Hammonds, known as Ferdy, passed away. If you were in Hempstead, you knew Ferdy. That man remembered every single fire we ever had in Hempstead, the time, the date, the address, and he rode on a bicycle to get to fires, and he would get there before most of our firefighters. So, yeah, Ferdinand was unbelievable. He was a great man, a great soul, loved everybody, got along to everybody, and the department made him an honorary chief, which was a great gesture by Hempstead Fire Department. Today we're going to get started our first video.
Pete, you want to give a love to our watchers and listeners on Facebook?
Yes. We have Ruth Caffey joining us, Beverly Wells, I'm sorry, Eva, Melissa Sutherland, Sylvia Butler. Those are the ones I see. Everybody that's out there, thank you for joining us. Please spread the word to your friends, family, people at your churches. Also, if you don't catch us here live, you can go to YouTube and watch us on there. Subscribe to the channel. Doesn't mean that you're paying because you're subscribing. You just get notified. Watch those videos. You can watch them later on. If forever, I know, I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, we had some technical difficulties. If that happens and you don't see us live, we will still tape the show and put it up on the YouTube channel. So in case you don't see us, it doesn't mean that we're not around. It's because something's happening. Usually we'll tell you ahead of time if we're taking a week off. But if we don't and you don't see us, please go to YouTube. You will find the recording there. Thank you. With that said, we're going to get our show started. Our first video today is a teacher that was unfortunately killed by his own students that were playing a prank at his residence. So we're going to review that now. D?
Okay, let me just say really quick, we're going to get started with that video, but let me say really quick, in the beginning we had a little glitch with the pictures, the moment of silence and our reverence to the members that are serving and have served is really important to me. So I'm going to make sure those pictures are added to next week so everybody gets represented. That's extremely important. So we didn't get to it this week, but we'll definitely get to it next week. In the corner of FAFO, everybody knows what that means. Playing jokes, having a good time. What I teach my kids that I teach in my classes are, we're having a great time until we weren't having a great time. We're having fun until there was no fun no more. Take a look at this.
Is mourning the tragic death of a beloved teacher after a high school prank gone wrong. Police say 5 teenagers went to Jason Hughes' house around 11:30 Friday night to throw toilet paper at his trees. According to the sheriff's office, when Hughes, a math teacher at North Hall High School, came outside, the students, all 18 years old, tried to flee in 2 vehicles. Authorities say Hughes tripped and fell into the roadway, and one of the drivers, Jaden Wallace, ran him over. Police say Wallace and his friends, seen here in mugshots obtained by ABC affiliate WSB, tried to render aid to the teacher, but the 40-year-old later died at the hospital.
He was a great guy, God-fearing man. He would do anything. He'd take the shirt off his back and give it to you.
Wallace is now charged with first-degree vehicular homicide and reckless driving and could serve up to 15 years behind bars. Police have charged all 5 teenagers with criminal trespassing and littering on private property.
That the family wants to make really clear is that they knew these kids, that they loved them, and these kids loved the Hugheses. This was not a malicious act.
The Hughes family telling our team Jason knew these students were coming to his house and was excited to catch them during the prank. His family says this was a tragic accident and they fully support dropping the criminal charges against all the teenagers.
And the victim's wife, Laura, is also a teacher at the same high school. In a statement to ABC News, the family says, quote, "We are thankful for the outpouring of prayers and support as we grieve the loss of Jason. We ask that you continue to pray for our family and also for the students involved in the accident along with their families. Please join us in extending grace and mercy to them as Christ has done for us." Guys.
What a sad.
All right. I see Jim Kiernan.
Yeah, I don't see any criminality here at all. I mean, this was just a tragic events that could certainly happen to anybody at any time. Unless there's something about his driving that we don't know, whether he was intoxicated or something that would rise to a criminal behavior. To me, it just looks like an unfortunate accident.
I agree, Jim. I think when this goes to trial, it's going to be hard to find these students guilty, especially with the family not being fully supportive of the charges. Jamel, then D and Derek.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have a prank that went awry, and unfortunately, we have the death of an individual. I guess we'll just have to wait. That once they go to trial, and hopefully the jury will be sympathetic. But I don't think that you drop the charges. You let it go to trial, and hopefully things will turn out fair for everyone. But again, a prank that just gone wrong, and we have an individual that's dead, and a family without a son and a husband. So we'll see what happens.
Thank you, Jamel. I agree. It was not malicious, but their actions still led to his death. The DA has to, follow through, and then let it take its course. What happens once it goes to trial, that's going to be a different story. D, Derek, and Jerry.
I'm glad you said that, Cheech, because that's the direction I was going to come from. Even if you see law enforcement officers, they have to use their tools that they have, and somebody is unalived. They got to be charged. I mean, I kept saying that. People don't understand what that means. You're still going to get charged. Now, Cheech, you said it right. What happens at trial, what happens later on, justification, things of that nature, that's out of our control. That's for 12 people to judge you. But I wanted to talk about really, really quick, and we're going to take a minute or so. Nobody loves a joke more than me. I'm a bit of a prankster. I know y'all thought Mark was the prankster, but I'm a bit of a prankster. But I always prank with a mind of safety. You know what I mean? Because of what we've done for so long. It might be funny, but you start to say, we may get a good laugh, but I don't want anybody to get hurt. And I think we all need to think about in this day and age where, we making videos and everything is funny. And the teacher himself was involved. He's waiting for him to come over to do this. And he acted the way he was going to act. But at the end of the day, somebody's gone. Right? And at the end of the day, most of us here in the room are responsible that nobody be gone. Whatever's going to happen, we can have a joke and have a laugh, but that's what I said earlier. It's funny until it ain't funny. At a certain point, if somebody's going to get hurt or worse, we as individuals have to be are smart enough to put on the brakes, right? To say, hey, somebody might get hurt, somebody might fall, somebody might hit their head. So I just wanted to say people got to be careful. I know we want to have jokes and fun, and I'm a proponent of fun, but we got to have fun with some good judgment, right? In this case, fun with some good judgment, even on the teacher's part, because knowing this is his house and his students, everybody knows everybody. I don't know, his family probably feels this too. I would love to have I'd love to have Derek there saying, slow down. And then him be here to tell about it today. I'm just saying. That's it.
Thank you, D. Derek?
Yeah, I remember discussing this on another one of our shows, maybe like a year ago. And the way that I don't remember how it came up, but I remember saying it was a school night, it was a weeknight, and maybe like 8:45 or so, the end of basketball season, which is winter time, so it's dark outside. My old by the front door with her coat on. And I asked them, like, what are you getting ready to do? And she said, we're going to TP the coach's house. They do it at the end of every season. And I was like, you're not going anywhere. And she said, it's a tradition. I said, it's a tradition for everyone except for you. I said, and when your people get here with their car, either you can go out and tell them you're not going, or I can go out and tell them you're not going, but you're not going. And that being said, I've never been a fan of pranks. Jokes are one thing, where things are verbal, but touching people's property, damaging people's property, going on people's property, to me is a no-no. And obviously, it's done a lot and nothing happens. But for some reason, this guy stumbled out into the street and he got run over, unfortunately. And his family's going to be without him. I understand that he has a wife and children. She's going to have to cover the cost for college some way without him. And it's a tragedy. And it's one that could easily be avoided if you just leave other people's property alone. And it's sad. Again, I'm not a prankster. I don't like pranks. Jokes are one thing when they're verbal, but I'm not into the pranks, and they could lead to harm, which we see can happen. That's all I have.
Thank you, D. Yeah, we did go over. I forget what that case was, but we did speak about this a while back. It was something similar. I think I brought up at that time that here our high school has a tradition of senior assassin, and these kids go out with water guns and they try to take each other out until there's the last one standing. But they come around to your home and they'll be hiding in your driveway, hiding in your backyard trying to catch your kid. But us as adults don't know. And now I go out there and all of a sudden somebody comes out from behind one of my cars in the driveway. It could be a totally different situation. So times have changed with pranks. I have always been a prankster myself. I do. But as Dee said, we have to be smart and think about safety with some of these pranks. Jerry?
Cheech, I'm going to comment based on what you just said about the water gun prank. I happened to have been at an event, which was a Sweet 16 for a child last year. And all of a sudden, these kids came running out with these water guns and they're spraying and the kids jumping and falling. And I got wet. Wasn't happy about that because I was walking in and I was like, what is this? And they went, oh, this is what they planned. And I was like, this is stupid. Now, this particular event that we're actually talking about involving this unfortunate situation where the AD said that the teacher...
Sorry about that. That was me.
That the teacher was looking forward to the kids coming. When this all... he ran... They showed pictures of his driveway, and it was very long and steep, but he ran down it, and he ended up getting run over. And his family, and he knew they were coming and they were looking forward to it, which is why his family's now saying, please don't press charge. This is enough of a tragedy. Let's not let this tragedy impact the other children, because he loved these children and his children loved him, because it was not definitely a maliciously intended prank. But to me, it's like I look at this and I don't live in a community. Well, no, now I do. But a community where prank versus tradition is like a strange thing. Granted, now the man is no longer with us, and that's not okay. But his family is asking for mercy for these children because they don't want to impact their lives forever, because they believe tragedy enough. Let's not build upon it and take it further. Yeah, you guys have told me the fact that he's unalived, so it has to go through courts. I was like, can they stop this before it goes? And I already know y'all telling me they can't. I'm not into that legal aspect, but I already heard you saying that they can't. That's my conversation. Sorry. That's it.
And it is, Jerry, it is a tragedy that's affecting everybody's lives, not just his family, all these kids, and then all the other kids in that school, I'm sure, are affected by this. I don't know, maybe Kyle can jump in on this, but first degree vehicular manslaughter, I don't know if that would be the appropriate charge facing 15 years. Would involuntary manslaughter be less time? Or is it the same as vehicular manslaughter? I'm not 100% sure on that. So
I'm sorry, before you go to the legal aspect, the other thing I thought of is if it goes to trial, it is a jury of your peers. And since we're talking about a community that kind of embraces this activity, they may not find the child guilty.
And that's why I said at the beginning, I think if it goes to trial, the community is not going to find these kids guilty. I got Will and then Ty. Kyle, if you want to jump in, just let me know.
Statements to reflect on. One is discretion is the better part of valor, and the other one is totality of circumstances. The reason why those two statements come to mind for me is this. The charge for the driver of the car, I think they said careless and reckless driving, and did they say vehicular homicide? Those were the charges. I'm sorry?
Vehicular manslaughter, first degree.
Vehicular manslaughter. So I don't know what their elements look like, but the careless and reckless driving is an underlying charge leading to the vehicular manslaughter. So when you're talking about careless and reckless driving, from my experience, that usually involves excessive speeding for conditions, reckless driving in the context of wrong side of the road, swerving, that sort of thing, road conditions being diminished because of weather. It requires something to label it as careless and reckless driving. The kids, as it was reported, were pulling off. And according to what you said, Jerry, the guy was running down the hill to catch them. We all know if you're running down the hill trying to stop, it's a very easy trigger to risk falling. And what it amounts to is this, and this is where the discretion is the better part of valor. These kids reacted appropriately when they realized what had happened. They stopped, they got out, they tried to render aid. They were already traumatized by what was supposed to be something that was fun. And I understand how you all feel about pranks and the end result, and I understand the shock value of the end result. But at the end of the day, to what end does it serve justice to charge these kids unless they point out that the driving directly contributed? Either he was speeding, squealing tires, driving erratically, possibly impaired. These are variables that we don't know. But outside of those, based on what we know right now, to me, this is an overreach from the standpoint of kids that are already traumatized. I have investigated cases, and it's not quite the same thing, but just to give you an idea, where there's unaliving of an infant, and you find out that the infant was a child to parents who were disadvantaged financially. They didn't have money for a crib, so the infant slept in the bed with them. Well, we all know that that's a very big risk for the child, but if that's what you have, and then the infant is unalived because of the environment, and you go and charge the parent or parents for that, you have to look at intent in regards to that. So I'll be interested to see how this whole thing plays out. But what we know what I know right now, to me, charging does not seem to be a good use of discretion.
I agree, Will. Like you said, it doesn't seem like he didn't get in front of the car and then they ran him over. You know, he ran out there, fell, and they accidentally ran him over. And then he knew they were coming, so he wasn't standing out there stopping them from coming on his property and doing this. He waited for them to start doing it and then come out because I think he wanted to be part of the prank.
Exactly.
And catch them in the act and say, ha ha, I got you.
Exactly.
You didn't
Surprise,
get me.
surprise. Exactly.
Yes. So, yeah, it's still a tragedy that's affecting everybody. Go ahead, Ty. Ty, before you go, I just want to catch up. Melba said that this happened at near her, and that the community is already asking for leniency. Renee Henderson said, never like pranks. Somebody always seems to get hurt. Commend you, Derek, for being a father. Carl Saunders says, prank or tradition, someone is left dead, somebody has to pay the price. But of course, the complexion fits the protection. All right. Go ahead, Ty.
So, greetings, everybody. I'd be surprised if it even gets to a trial. because there's no supporting depositions or anything like that from the parties that had the most to lose. I don't know. I'm not sure how that works in that state, but he could have tripped and fell in front of any car. If it's because it happened in his own property, this event, it was the mitigating circumstance which caused it. But I see if the kid was on the sidewalk or something malicious, but even then, they rendered help immediately, and so I'd be surprised if it even gets as far as a trial. It'll probably be can it be dismissed, Kyle, prior to? It depends on how. I mean, how does that work if there's no support from the family at all, and no, unless there's some outside support?
The state.
Well, you
Yeah.
don't need a
Right.
complaint.
I
Like
know that. Yeah.
in homicide, you don't have
Right.
the
It's homicide. But how do you? I mean, like if
You
I
have
don't
to
know.
have some supporting evidence to support
Right.
the charges, and they may have that. You don't know
Yes.
that they don't
Exactly.
have neighbors or people just describing what happened.
Right.
If
Right.
those facts support
Right.
a charge within the law, they
They got a
can
charge. You
use
got to
their
do it.
discretion and elect to charge it.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's that they're
It's
going to
gonna-
be found guilty.
Right. Right.
But if it's enough and they find that there's reason to bring the charges, but there may be supportive evidence, ring cameras,
Right.
be on video. There's a lot we don't know. So they have to have something to support it. If they don't, yes, it can be dismissed, and a motion to dismiss.
Right.
If there's no supporting evidence, the judge will dismiss it.
His own discretion. That's what I thought. And also, I'm of the same exact mindset as Derek. Both of my children know, don't even ask me because you're not going. Don't even ask me. And I was in North Carolina, and my oldest daughter went to Clark High School, and the SRO, well, I can't mention his name, but I knew over at Clark, and he texted me and says, "Ty, your daughter's at senior night outside. They get ready to get crazy." I told him to take her home, and the mother, and she was angry with me. The two of her friends got in trouble that night, and she likely would have been with them and been downtown in Mineola with them. So at first they were mad at me, but then the next morning they said, "Thank you, Dad," because I said, "Take her home right now. I don't care." So I'm of the same as that mindset as Derek. I don't mind verbal jokes.
You might want to.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that, Mark. I said I don't mind verbal jokes, and Mark and I have our fair share of verbal jokes all over the department during the night. But when it gets to be physical, property involved, that ain't funny no more. It's not a joke anymore. And that's all I have. Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, Ty. I got Derek.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say that even if him running over the guy wasn't intentional, it's still negligence, so it could be criminally negligent homicide. And on the New York City Police Department, we used to see a lot of pranks in our locker room. And obviously, I was never a part of them on either side. I wasn't the recipient, nor was I the person doing it. And some of the things that I saw happening to people, had I been the recipient, we would have just been fighting. I mean, sometimes guys would come into work and their locker would be downstairs on the subway platform. It wouldn't be in the command anymore. Guys would come into work, like the lockers have the little slits, the little vents, and people would spray a bottle of baby powder up into the vent of someone's locker. You come in and your whole uniform is white. People would build plaster casts over people's locks so that when they get to work, they can't open their lock and get in their locker. Now they're late for roll call. And I think the worst one I saw was two guys went to a poultry house and they got a rooster. And if you take like a 10-pound plate and you hit the lock, the round part of the lock, it'll come off of the hook, but it'll lock back on. And they opened someone's locker on a Friday and they threw this rooster in this guy's locker and he didn't come back to work until Monday. And when he opened that locker Monday morning, that rooster came out after his ass and he fell backwards over the bench. Aside from the rooster shitting in his locker all weekend, I mean, stuff like that. Listen, to me, it's only a joke if everyone's laughing. And if you do some shit like that to me, we are fighting and someone's getting hurt, and it's not going to be me. And it's just, I don't know, like going onto someone's property, you throw the toilet paper, it hangs from the tree limbs. It's not like you could just reach up and get it. You know what I mean? You got to go out there with a ladder, which puts you more at risk. It's too much. The pranks are just, they're ridiculous. I don't subscribe to them. I wouldn't let my kids be a part of them. And hey, listen, if you hear about it the next day and you want to laugh, laugh, but you're not going to be the one doing it.
You made a good point though, because according to the report, the teacher was all on board with the prank. So everybody was all on board. So it was laughing. This is an unfortunate outcome, but to your point, a good prank is one that everybody is cool with and nobody's hurt. The circumstances of him getting hurt are completely accidental.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go so far as to say that he was contributory to it because that seems insensitive. But from the information that we have, everybody involved with the prank was on board with it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in. Well, I did, but you know what I'm saying.
It's no problem. I was done. Yeah.
All right. Well, I learned something here today. I definitely won't be hugging you shirtless, Derek, at our reunion. Jim, you're up.
Yeah, I started this conversation by saying I don't see any criminality. I stay with that position. I don't see any criminality. Although I may understand, as we discussed a little bit on the side chat there, that the manslaughter part of it, I could kind of understand that if there is some other issues involved and some other statements and witnesses involved, that they may find it necessary to charge and then let the system kind of go through. But I, for the life of me, can't understand a criminal trespass or criminal mischief charge when the property owners were fine with it. How do you charge a trespass when a guy says it's okay, or mischief when a guy is part parcel of the mischief, even if there were a witness? I mean, the first thing that we're going to ask when we come to a scene for a criminal, I'm not talking about the homicide now. The criminal mischief or criminal trespass is a complainant. And if the complainant says, no, it's okay, they were allowed on my property, they were allowed to do that. I mean, that charge is just very mysterious to me. That's all I got.
Thanks, Jim. JT, I see you just raised your hand.
Yeah, I got a question. Didn't they say the guy that got killed was drinking?
I don't think so.
I didn't hear anything.
I didn't hear that. Didn't hear that.
No.
Have you been drinking?
All the time. But I don't run.
There you go. There you go.
I thought somebody said he tripped and fell because he was drinking. But when you get old, you don't hear everything.
They didn't say because he was drinking. He did trip. They didn't say because
he
he was
trip
drinking.
and fall, but I didn't hear anything about him drinking.
Chief, to your point about the requiring a complainant for the trespassing and all that stuff, and Kyle, you can check me on this, but when someone is unalived in this situation, the presumption is because of the result that the state now becomes a complainant for that person. Now, I hope that his wife, as his survivor, if that's her feelings about not wanting these kids charged, I hope they take that under advisement. But since he can't speak for himself, now the state has to speak for him.
Okay.
Thank you. Speaking of trip and fall, Dave, you okay?
See you.
All right.
I think I like Cheech hosting.
Hey, well,
Cheech, you about to get his kicked in a minute. Cheech, you about to get your ass kicked when I reach through this phone.
I'll see you at the reunion, buddy.
Mark, you've been awfully quiet. What's up? Sorry.
All right.
Eating crabs.
So we're going from thank you everybody for all your input on this. Very valuable information. As you all see, we come from different angles at this, and everybody sees it in different ways and different perspective of the whole situation. At the end of the day, it was a tragedy, and there's a lot of people affected by this. So our prayers go out to to that community and everybody involved. Now we're going from a prank that turned into a tragedy to a demonstration that turned into a terrorist attack. D, we're going to the video of an incident at Gracie Mansion, the mayor's mansion in New York City.
Yes, sir. First, I want to say, JT, Melba's laughing at you. Just by the way, just so you know.
Oh, she is.
She is. Our next video takes us here to New York City. Now, you know, in New York City, we know we're a little microcosm of the world at large. Based on the recent events, there's a protest at the mayor's mansion, Gracie Mansion, which is off the east side of Manhattan. They had a protest going on there, which they do quite often. But then we had some counter protesters who came armed with some improvised explosive devices. And we always talk about what law enforcement does. I think Jamel has some information about the law enforcement in here. They put themselves in harm's way, but let's take a look.
Good afternoon. I am here to brief you on a situation that occurred earlier today during protests outside of Gracie Mansion, from which footage of suspicious devices has been circulating on social media. The information that I am about to provide is preliminary and it is subject to change. At approximately 11 a.m., two separate demonstrations, a protest and a counter-protest, commenced in the area of East End Avenue and East 87th Street. The initial protest, called Stop the Islamic Takeover of New York City, Stop New York City Public Muslim Prayer, organized by individuals associated with far-right provocateur Jake Lang, drew approximately 20 participants. The counter-protest, Run the Nazis Out of New York City, Stand Against Hate, took place nearby with roughly 125 participants at its peak. Both groups were separated into designated protest areas by NYPD officers. Shortly before noon, tensions escalated between individuals in the two groups. At 12:15 p.m., a protester associated with the Jake Lang group used pepper spray against counter-protesters and was arrested thereafter. At approximately 12:38 p.m., a counter-protester identified as Amir Balat, an 18-year-old man, lit and threw an ignited device toward the protest area, landing in the crosswalk of East 87th Street and East End Avenue. Witnesses reported seeing flames and smoke as it traveled through the air before it struck a barrier and extinguished itself a few feet from police officers. Mr. Balat then ran southbound on East End Avenue toward 86th Street and gets a second device from a man tentatively ID'd as Ibrahim Nick, 19 years old. Mr. Balat lights the device and starts running with it. He then drops the device on the west side of East End Avenue between East 86th and East 87th Streets. Officers immediately secured the area and they took both men into custody. This was all captured on NYPD Argus camera. The bomb squad responded and examined the devices. Based on preliminary examination and X-ray imaging, the devices, which were a bit smaller than a football, appear to be a jar wrapped in black tape, importantly with nuts, bolts, and screws, along with a hobby fuse that could be lit. At this time, we do not yet know whether the devices were functional improvised explosive devices or hoax devices, because we don't yet know if there was energetic material contained in them. Both recovered devices are being transported by the bomb squad in a total containment vessel to Rodman's Neck for further testing and analysis. Following the discovery of the devices, officers established a safety perimeter around the area and began a comprehensive search for any additional hazards.
Wow. These are the times we're living in right now. Jim, we're going to start off with you.
Yeah, I'm going to make a very quick comment, and that's I don't think I have ever seen that was the most thorough. If I'm sitting there I don't even know if I would have a question. I mean, she can't handle the entire thing. That's all I really have.
Thanks, Jim. Jamel?
Yes. You know, that incident that occurred, I mean, you know, really, I really take my hat off to law enforcement throughout this nation. Particularly, you know, I'm going to be more biased towards NYPD. If you would have actually seen the IEDs that these guys, you know, used, you know, they were, you know, very, very rogue, but nevertheless, as an officer on the scene, listen, you don't know how fatal these items are, and the response by the police was just phenomenal. You know, these guys, these terrorists, you know, they actually threw these improvised explosive devices right after police, and you know, one officer he said it that he put the lives of everyone around him first before his own. And it just goes to show you how every day law enforcement officers put their lives on the line to protect the public. And, you know, their valor, you know, goes unsung many times. But I'm glad that these knuckleheads with these devices that they had, you know, they weren't proficient as far as building these things, and nonetheless, they didn't go off. So I'm glad that no one lost their lives, and I'm glad that these guys are apprehended. Thank you.
I agree, Jamel. Props to NYPD. There was no hesitation there whatsoever to go after these guys. And with everything that's going on in the world right now, and knowing how many people are out there that hate America and what they're capable of doing, especially when you're seeing that they're throwing devices like this, what else can they have on them? And for these officers to put their own lives at risk to make sure nobody else gets injured, props to them. Derek and then Dave.
Yeah, props goes to two different entities. First to God, and then to the officers. And I say God first because what's the likelihood of these guys creating two IEDs and neither one of them detonating? So
Thank you, Jesus.
God gets the credit for that. But the officers exhibited great bravery. There was no hesitation. They did what they were supposed to do, what they're paid to do, and they did not have to think about it at all. And it's funny because back, obviously, many years ago when I was working, people that weren't on the job used to ask, "Are you scared?" And I used to tell them, "No, I'm not scared." And I used to say, most days that I go to work, I have more fun than I'm concerned with danger.
Yeah.
Every day is in danger filled. Obviously, the potential for it is always there, but every day is in danger filled. It's just that when it comes to fruition, you have to act and you can't hesitate, which is just what these two officers did. So props to them. They did a great job. And like Jim said, the commissioner did a great job in her press conference. She said everything in great detail, and that's what happens when you hire competent people.
That's it.
Thank you, Derek. Melba asked, why were only the counter protesters named, or did I miss it? No, they did name both sets of protesters, of group of protesters. One was about 20 protesters. The other group was about 125.
25.
This is the point where I remind you guys of our disclaimer. Dave, let's go. Don't hold back.
I don't give a shit either about it. I don't care. But I'm telling you right now, this is the beauty of free speech in America. Okay? You get some asshole far-right extremist influencer wants to come out there and have a pig roast in front of Gracie Mansion on Ramadan. Okay, now you got another group coming out there, and they got some Muslim brothers out there. They don't give a shit either. They wanted to get caught. They didn't run. Okay, and they didn't care about blowing themselves or blowing everybody else up. They wanted to be just like the Boston Marathon bombers. So this is the shit that we got to deal with in New York City. So when I hear people talk about the cops don't do shit, man, open your fucking eyes. Y'all don't see half the shit. You want to be blind to the bullshit, but you don't want to see what we actually have to do and the shit that we gotta contend with. Okay, and then we gotta go home to bullshit. Okay. Okay, and then we gotta answer our phone to dumbasses asking us dumbass questions about their kids getting in trouble. Okay, so this is free speech. Okay, dumbass group on the left, dumbass group on the right, and you know what, man? Some of them, they all should have been collared. I wouldn't give a shit. Matter of fact, they should have had the craziest damn judge down at arraignments and locked their asses all up and kept them in for the weekend. Who cares? But you know, this is the danger of this shit. And it's only going to get worse now because of what Trump and Netanyahu are doing. It's going to get worse. Look at today. This fool drives a truck in Michigan into a synagogue, starts blasting. Now they found explosives in this truck. They lit his ass up. Nobody got killed or hurt, thank God, on the other side. But this is what we in for. Okay? You got the dumbass in the FBI. Okay, this motherfucking glassy-eyed fucking alcoholic. Okay, he's firing all the experts in to deal with terror in the FBI.
And then got to spend the money at the end of the year because they didn't spend it with people.
They waste their money on bullshit luxury planes with dildos in the damn bedrooms of the planes, Thrifty Gnome. Okay, and that's what we got. Okay. This fool's gonna mess with Iran. Iran don't give a shit about dying. They tell you straight up. We'll tell you this war's over when we say it's over, Mr. Trump. Come on. This is what we're dealing with today. Okay? This is the shit that we're dealing with today. So all of these people complain, oh Lord, we have terror groups in the United States. Y'all put Trump in there, you fucking deal with it. I'm done.
You hear me talking, hillbilly boy?
I agree, Dave. You said something very important there. Iran does not care about dying, and that is what is so dangerous about what is going on right now. Will, and then Jerry.
Real quick, I'd like to circle back around to a comment from the previous video as a particular point of interest. Carl Sanders says they do it to the same teacher every year in reference to the prank on the teacher that was unalived. I think that's going to be very telling with regards to how this thing develops. Now, to this situation, the details that the commissioner gave, and one that I particularly picked up on, when she described the devices, she described them as glass jars wrapped in black tape with nuts, bolts, and screws inside, and what she called a hobby fuse on the outside. Now, I'm not sure, just looking at it on face value, I guess maybe like a fake fuse or whatever. Don't know. Because anything that's lit is going to smoke. But what a lot of people don't need to understand, and let's say if it turns out that these are not truly devices that have some sort of combustion or propellant in there to ignite, to make those nuts and bolts flare out like this. Just because they are not actual devices to do that, the perception that they create still justifies the charges because it's based upon what the victims would perceive and not necessarily what the device is capable of. It's like you can do an armed robbery with a toy gun. If I believe that that's a real gun, then it's still an armed robbery. You don't get to get off easier just because you said, oh, well, it wasn't a real gun. So I just wanted to kind of make that point about those devices.
As far as I'm concerned, it's a weapon of mass destruction because they said they wanted more fatalities than what happened in Boston. So whatever charges they get, they deserve. Rich.
You skipping me now?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Jerry and then Rich.
Sorry. I have a question because their devices did not explode and we're not quoting, we talk about the hobby and all that other stuff. I, as a civilian, am sitting there going, is this another distraction? Even though guys sacrificed because these young men are now in the system and may be locked up. But I was like, is there something that's really, was that really what it was? Because I know the current mayor of New York City is Muslim, right? And what is it? He's not a traditional. And them doing this is another situation. So I'm like, was it, I don't know that the intent was exactly what we see, or if it's another distraction, because they got a lot of stuff going on, and you know, they messing with us as Americans, even with that like West Coast stuff, which is another story. They're messing with us with what they're doing. So I don't know that these two young guys were really, if the intent was exactly what it is, or if it was like throw that in there and then we don't see something else. That's all I'm saying. Sorry.
Thank you, Jerry. Richard Bowden said that his niece is at a conference near the synagogue where that driver went in. Our prayers are with your niece, Richard. I want to correct myself on a statement I made earlier about Iranians. That I said that they're not afraid to die. No, correction. It's extremists that are not afraid to die. You know, not everyone is in that same mentality of thinking. So it's just extremists are the ones that are very dangerous. Not all Iranians. I correct myself. Rich. Your mic's.
Yeah, got it. You know, I just want to say NYPD did a great job on this incident. I'm glad nobody got hurt. Thank God for that. It was well done. Just like Jim said, the press briefing was excellent. And I must say, I've never seen a chief jump a fence before, but this chief did. He did a great job. His wife wasn't happy about it, but I would say that was exceptional that he was able to jolt into gear where most chiefs at any department would just hang in the background and let the troops handle things. But he went above and beyond. That kind of behavior is uncommon valor that people have in them to act, which I appreciate. So,
Hey, Rich.
Yes.
They do that shit now. They do that shit now because they got to answer at CompStat. Back in the day, they would have never done that shit. It would have been the cops or the detectives jumping over shit. They were in the way. They're more in the way now by accident.
What's CompStat, Dave?
Yeah,
it's Derek explained. Derek, you've been there before, right?
Yep. CompStat is a computer statistical. It's a computer statistical
data
gathering of what each command has in the way of crime and has in the way of activity week to week, month to month, year to year from this year and the years prior.
Okay, so statistics, going back, utilizing computers. Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know what? I just feel like I don't want to take anything away from him. What the motivation was. I think he did a good job of representing the department. I saw him on TV last night on one of the news stations, and he really was. I was very impressed with him. So
I feel that he did more than that because he was just doing who he is, and he's a servant of, law enforcement in our community, and he was like trying to take care of things, and that's a beautiful thing. He used to be, even though I know his wife was like, "Stop, dude," but anyway. Beautiful, beautiful. Applaud him. Yes.
Okay, I guess I'm done.
Thanks, Rich. I don't see hands up. Anybody else got any comments?
The one thing that I have to say is, once you make it to the rank, or seemingly, okay, I don't want to say this is a guarantee, but it seems as though on NYPD, once you make it to the rank of captain or above,
Done.
These people stay on the job for extended periods of time, and then when they feel like they're ready to retire, they put in for 3/4. And and I said seemingly because once you make the rank of captain or above, they don't get turned down. So you take a guy that's a 2-star chief, 15 years from now, he'll want to retire. He'll put in for 3/4. And now there's a picture of him jumping
Up in the fence.
and he'll say he hurt his knee or his back or his foot, and he'll get 3/4. And the civilians of New York City will be paying him for the rest of his life far and above what he would normally receive.
You tell him, D. You tell it right, D.
Yeah.
Damn right.
If you're a lieutenant or below, they will turn you down for 3/4 if they know you're hurt. And you'll have to go back and resubmit. If you're a captain or above, you get it, and they do not turn you down.
I had a chief try to go through the front door before us on a homicide investigation. We had to yank his ass back before he got us all mowed down. Yep. We say, what the fuck are you trying to do? You want that 3/4 injury, that tax-free pension.
Oh, okay. Tax-free. Because I was like, what's 3/4? But tax-free. Okay.
It's funny you guys bring up 3/4 because that's going to take us into our next video. Riverside, California. They got 3 officers that came out of the military with 100% disability. Somebody noticed that they had disability, handicap license plates, but they are now police officers. So the chief out there is looking to have them fired. D?
Well, that was an awesome way to set that up. And I just say, I didn't say anything on the last video, but Mark, that's what chiefs do. That's all we're gonna say. That's exactly what chiefs do. Let's take a look at this video.
They have disabled veteran license plates on their personal vehicles. The Riverside Police Department is planning to fire 3 officers because they have disabled veteran license plates on their personal vehicles. The officers have filed a discrimination lawsuit against the police department. Fox 11's Nick Garcia has the story.
Now, the 3 officers are military veterans. All 3 have a 100% disability rating from the VA. Now, the police department is alleging they lied about their physical limitations in order to get those plates. Their attorney, though, says that's not true. 3 Riverside police officers who previously served in the U.S. Army and Marine Corps have been served with paperwork saying the police department intends to fire them. Their attorney says it's because all 3 have disabled veteran license plates on their personal cars.
They're saying, because I've seen the paperwork, that these guys must have lied in order to get the disability rating from the VA, which of course is nonsense.
He says none of the officers have asked for special accommodations at work, which the department is using to back up its claims. McNicholas says the VA disability rating system can be commonly misunderstood.
Just because you're 100% disabled under the VA rubric does not mean you are disabled for purposes of California employment law.
The department told the officers it plans to fire them last week, and an effort by McNicholas to settle with the city has failed. He says he will see this lawsuit through, and if they do ultimately get fired, looks forward to presenting their case before a jury.
It's a huge betrayal. And this is everything they wanted to do, and I hope they land softly.
The Riverside Police Department tells me it cannot comment on confidential personnel matters. In Riverside, I'm Nick Garcia.
Wow. I'm going to start off with you, Will. Then we got Derek, Ty, Dave, and Rich.
So we're all familiar with the process to become a police officer, the fitness component, the psychological evaluation, all of that comes into play. Now, when you say you are 100% disabled from the military, I know of 2 types of disabilities that they do. Sometimes it's due to mental trauma with regards to PTSD, traumatic brain injury, whatever the case may be. And the other time it's physical trauma. So those are the two areas, unless somebody can tell me otherwise. I think, Rich, you're our resident veteran, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So those are the two areas that would get you disability ratings. Now, I want you to
100.
imagine being a police officer with 100% disability rating, whether it was for mental, physical, or both, and then you get into a crisis situation and you respond in a manner that is inappropriate. And now somebody finds out that you had this person that was 100% disabled in the military on your payroll as a police officer. And this was the choice they made leading to this outcome. What people don't understand, because a lot of people are going to get in their feelings because they feel like it's discriminatory against the military. No, it's not. It's not at all. You simply cannot have someone that has been officially identified as being disabled 100% and have them doing this job as law enforcement. If they were doing a different job that didn't require the decision-making and the physicality and the powers that are associated with being in law enforcement, then from the California law standpoint of employment, you're 100% correct. If they had a desk job that didn't give arrest powers, that they weren't carrying guns, that they weren't getting into crisis and dangerous situations, then all well and good. But that's not what this is. And so now that they have identified themselves as disabled, qualified for those tags, they basically told on themselves. Two of those officers are TAC team officers, ladies and gentlemen. And I think the other one is on patrol. So you're telling me that if somebody's 100% disabled from the military and drawing disability, is that someone that you would feel comfortable working in your department?
Jim, you wanted to say something?
You're muted, Jim.
You're muted.
I have a question before we go on any further. To any of the military here, is that can you apply for 100% military disability after you're out of the service?
Yes.
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 So technically you could say become a police officer with no disabilities of the military, and then while you're out, you put in your file for military disability and get it.
Yes.
Yes.
All right,
And
I
you're
just
right, Jim.
need some-
You can do that, but there's a responsibility to notify your employer given the nature of your work.
Yeah,
If
no,
you don't-
I just wanted that just for my mind to make sure
Okay.
that you could do that. That's all. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Will, you good? Hey, if you guys don't mind, I want to give the floor because I'm interested to hear what he has to say to our military veteran here, Rich. That's okay with everybody. Go ahead, Rich.
Don't forget you got JT.
He didn't raise his hand.
Yeah, thanks, Cheech. I appreciate that. Listen, this is a sticky wicket kind of situation because you could be 100%, VA disabled, but still be physically fit enough to do certain jobs. Now I know law enforcement hits all those areas where you need to be competent. And I wouldn't feel good about somebody who's 100% disabled being a partner of mine and having to rely on that individual, not knowing what the disability is. It's not like everybody knows that this person's only got this, or he had PTSD, but he's better now. You don't have know those details. There's HIPAA law regarding that or whatever. That's his personal business. But I think what the department is saying is those individuals lied. So I don't know what they lied about.
That's
to
what
get
I
the 100% disability. That would be a factor because they're saying they lied, but I don't know if they lied or not. And there's a lot of people that are 100% disabled from the VA getting benefits that are able-bodied. So it all depends what you get in 100% for. And what people don't realize is that it's an aggregate of things. So like for me, I've applied twice and I've gotten turned down, but just to having the shaving bumps. I was documented in the military that I had shaving bumps. I saw a military dermatologist and I had a beard chip once the beards weren't authorized. Okay, so I had a beard then. So I believe I can get anywhere from 10 to 30% disability just for that. So what I'm saying is certain things add up, and it could be stuff that's not debilitating for them doing a job. So it's very sticky is what I'm saying. If I'm getting 30% for just my shaving bumps, and then maybe I had crashed my arm at the barracks to a window and I got a scar on my arm, I didn't get any credit for the scar. But I'm just saying, if you start aggregating stuff that doesn't really hold you back from being able to do the job, that's a different factor. Now, if they lied and said that, they have some kind of spinal condition, that's not true, but they got the authorization for it, then I can see that being a factor. But I'm saying you can aggregate up to 100% without being totally disabled, but legally, for the veterans, you're getting 100%. I just want to break that down so everybody's aware of that. There's different things that can add up. You could have 10 things, but none of those could really be just debilitating as far as being a police officer. That's why I brought up the example of the shaving bumps and where you can start from that point and go further. If you've been exposed to asbestos, now, I was on 3 aircraft carriers and I was exposed to asbestos. Right now, I don't have any conditions with it, but apparently some people get rated based on their exposure. The AFFF foam, part of my job was being a firefighter, in the police agency. I was exposed to AFFF. You can now claim certain things regarding that. So that's what I'm saying, how sticky it is to determine what. Now, if they lied and they got them online, that's a different story. So I just wanted to clarify that as far as understanding for our audience out there that it could be aggregated.
Mark, you see your finger up.
Yeah, I thought in that story they said that it was in regards to the plates. They got the plates and they lied about it, and that's how they got the plates.
I don't understand. They lied about the 100%, they had 100%. They got the plate.
They lied about it to get the disabled vet plates.
Okay, so they weren't disabled. They weren't 100%, and they lied to get the plates, and that's the issue.
That's what I thought the story said, that because they got the plates, they had to lie on it. So whatever they filled out on those plates to get that plate, that disability plate, now it contradicts probably what they said when they got on the police department.
But it did say they were 100% disabled from the military.
Which is
once you get that designation of 100%, you don't have to say anything. You just show that, and they give you the plate.
I was about to say that's
hello. What they're questioning is the information that was provided to qualify for 100% relative to the information that they gave them for suitability for the job with the police department. So that's the lie portion that they're saying. It's like the saying goes: either you were lying then or you're lying now.
Well, how about
or maybe they told the truth then and nobody paid attention to it. I'm just saying, maybe they had a friend that was there when they filled their paperwork out and they got in anyway on the police department.
Unless that's a very small police department, that's not how it works.
Yeah, Rich brought up a good point.
Okay.
You can lose a leg in the military and get 100% disability, but then you get a prosthetic, and then if you go to the police academy and you pass the physical agility, then that can't hold you back. So it does bring up a good point. I got Derek, Ty, Dave, Jim, and Jerry.
Yeah, there were 2 words that Will said that just rang a big bell in my head. Desk job. If you're 100% disabled, you can do a desk job. You can be an accountant, you can be a bookkeeper, you can do whatever you want to do. But to be a police officer on the road, on patrol, and as Will said, I think 2 of them were in a TAC unit, which is like a SWAT type unit. Other one was on patrol. You need to be both physically and mentally fit. So if they're 100% disabled by aggregate, by a multitude of things that add up to 100, either they're not physically or mentally fit to do the job. And if they got this 100% disability confirmed after they were police officers, the department should know about it and the department should act on it. And acting on it, to me, means letting them go. Now, if they're 100% disabled on paper, they should either be fired or they should lose that disability pay, because you know they're getting paid for it as well. And I currently have 4 family members, 2 on each side of my family, that receive disability pay from the military. None of them were in any war. None of them were injured while they were in the military. And I don't think either of them did more than 3 years. Maybe one of them did 4 years. But they didn't get any injuries in the military. But people get disabilities for stuff like flat feet because, you know, like you had to wear the boots while you were in the military. Listen, that's not a disability. But if it counts as a disability and you're getting taxpayer money, then no, you shouldn't be granted a civil service job that's physical, where you need to be physically and mentally fit to do it and receive more taxpayer money. It just shouldn't happen. Also, there are certain things that if you're not in the military, it will preclude you from getting hired on the police department, especially in New York City. I can speak for New York City. If you've ever been diagnosed with any kind of depressive state, if you've been clinically diagnosed, you can't get on the job. I don't care if you were depressed when you were 11 years old and now you're 30. It doesn't go away. It doesn't go away in the view of the medical eyes. You cannot get on the job. And it should be the same with people that are listed as disabled on paper. If you're disabled, you're disabled. Sit home and get your check, get your money from out of our pocket that way, and don't get it out of our pocket 2 ways, period.
Thank you, Derek. I wanted to address the chat here. You can be, Richard Bowden says you can be 100% VA and still be a cop. A female can get 70% from sexual assault. The other 30% could be for a myriad of things. The 100% could be a total of several different things. Donald Coleman has a question for you, Kyle, if you're going to run the New York City half marathon. Karen says California DMV is not the most vigilant when it comes to verifying disabilities. A scandal at UCLA years ago with students using disability plates to avoid long walks from parking lots. A doctor's letter with the application, and there you are. So I guess it's easy to get it over there. We're at the 8-minute mark. Ty, Dave, Jim, and Jerry, 2 minutes each. D, get a good guy video ready.
So mine won't take 2 minutes because everybody stole my thunder what I wanted to say. But I will say one thing. Loose lips, sink ships. They got regular plates, regular car plates, and drove around to their police child that had been doing it, and they would have no problems. So what Will said, what Derek said, what Rich said, thank you very much for your service, Rich and JT. Appreciate y'all kicking in. So, I mean, that's all I was going to say. I was going to say what they said. So they already said it. I yield my.
Thank you, Ty.
Thank you, Ty. Dave, Jim, and Jerry.
I know some of the can't film here is the military, and I respect you. You know that. Love you guys, and I respect your service. But this is some scamming shit going on too here. Okay? This full fucking disability in the military, and then you try to run on the police department with that bullshit. This is some scamming shit going on here. And what happened is you probably got some buddies on the police department who couldn't get 75% off when they went to service, and you kept bragging about it. What you were getting. And they gave you up. Okay? You trying to get 2 pensions. They're trying to get 2 disability pensions. One with the military and then NYP, then with the PD, wherever they were. What were their disabilities? Don't give me that PTSD shit, because Derek is right. You were damn sure not walking in NYPD getting a job. You tell them you got PTSD. That's not happening. So what would a discipline? Scamming, trying to get more more money, and greed about telling them how much money you were getting, and they'd rather your ass right out. That's what happened. Okay, I don't care whoever gets hurt by. I don't give a flying shit. I'm tired of the hustles down here. I got two boys down here. One of my frat brother. He's my cousin's ex-husband. He's getting 100%. You know why? He got his fucking hand shot off in Iraq. And he went to Hampton University back in the day. Okay. Another one of her ex-boyfriends. He was a colonel, and fucking his helicopter went down and got shot down, and he got messed up. And they had to really hustle to get 100%. Them two. Then I see guys walking around here talking about they got 100%. And the only thing I see wrong with them is they eat too many goddamn steak hoagies.
And they got a hangnail.
It's fucking crazy. Everything's a scam nowadays, man. It was the scamming, and people are getting tired of it. But what it is, when you brag too much, people tell on you. And this is where the investigations start. Look at the guys from NYPD got 3/4 of NYPD. Went down to Florida. They caught them on the rooftop, building roofs and putting up shit on their roofs and new shingles and every damn thing else. They got caught lying. Come on. Everybody don't get no damn. Come on, man. Come on. Shit. I'm done, man. I'm tired. Matter of fact, I'm tired of this day. Go ahead.
Thank you, Dave. Jerry, did you put your hand down?
Took it down. It's all good.
Okay. Jim?
Yeah, I was gonna say something else, but I just after that, I just want to say, first of all, Ty is 100% right in that if they didn't get greedy and wanted free parking spaces and get a license, they'd be collecting it now and nobody'd know anything. And I also want to agree with Dave. It's probably because they were getting those good parking spots that some of their comrades got on them. That's all I got.
You're 100% right, Jim.
Good guy.
You too, Dave. Somebody dimed them out because of their big mouths. They're getting greedy.
Yeah.
We got 4 minutes to spare. We did good today. Thank you guys for keeping it on track. A very, very good discussion on all these subjects. I hope everybody out there stays safe with everything that's going on. Hopefully, nothing major happens.
Like those gas prices.
We do have to keep our heads on a swivel, like we said.
I just wanted to say, Cheech, this dude that shot up Donald School today does have ISIS ties.
Of course.
Yep. I'm telling you, it's coming, man.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, we have a lot of people right now that are very pissed off at America. So I can see other bigger things coming. So keep your heads on a swivel, everybody. And, just pray that God protects us all.
Keep putting your nose in other people's business and expect somebody not to smack you in it.
Stay in your own lane.
100. D, you got a good guy video for us?
Yes, sir.
You got Mark had his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mark, you put your hand up?
Yeah, I was just going to say in my defense that D slipped that one in on me. D, I would jump a fence for you, and I didn't get 3/4.
I knew it.
Mark was a working chief for sure. Mark was crazy. I think Mark forgot he was chief a few times.
Jump over the fence and go and paper toilet your tree.
Toilet paper.
That's the uncommon valor I was talking about. See, it's in him.
Yeah, Mark was crazy as a chief.
Go ahead, Dave.
All right. I don't think we did this one in the past, but I don't know whether I just been looking at it too much, but I thought this was a pretty good video. Let's take a look.
An incredible act of bravery caught on camera. A man sprinting across several lanes of Interstate 93 near Boston, dodging traffic to save a driver in distress.
Si se me presenta 10,000 veces más lo hago.
Adolfo Molina is the man running alongside the blue car as it speeds in the shoulder next to the median. Molina trying to open one of the doors. He says he first noticed the driver unconscious behind the wheel.
Ahí yo me doy cuenta de que la mujer va inconsciente y mareada, chocando con la pared, con la ventana, así.
That's when he pulled over his own truck to help. The risky move, a dangerous attempt, but Molina believes his own safety was in the care of someone else's hands.
Fue como algo de Dios que me protegió en ese transcurso.
His wife Maite thinking about what could have happened.
The first thing that came to my mind was, oh my God. And then I was like, oh my God, I would have became a widow and my children.
Eventually, another driver was able to help Molina bring the car to a stop until police arrived. The 25-year-old Uber driver, originally from the Dominican Republic, honored by his local mayor and the Dominican consulate in Boston for his bravery.
Dice dominicano destacado en el exterior, el Instituto Dominicano y Dominicano en el Exterior, INDE, reconoce con orgullo a Adolfo Molina Burgos.
Molina hoping he gets the chance to reconnect with that driver. But for now, he's grateful for the outpouring of support to the now viral video, seen more than 1 million times.
Muchas gracias a todo lo que me han comentado, todo lo que me han dado un like en TikTok.
Valerie Castro, NBC.
Para todos los que no entendieron, yo ti todo lo que él dijo, yo se los puedo repetir a ustedes. Gracias.
How did they stop the car for real?
That's a bad
He said he saw that lady unconscious.
Got that.
Behind the wheel, and he decided to
Get out of his car and try to
help, and that God was with him. And he thanks everybody who's hitting the likes on TikTok.
Yeah. And how did they stop the car?
Two things.
Guardrail.
First is he should get an endorsement for whatever shoes he was wearing because he never slipped and the conditions were horrible.
Hey, track down a car, Derek.
Right. And the second thing is now that Trump knows he's Dominican, he might get deported.
Yeah, he's out. They done got him already.
He's out.
He's not
speaking followed up to see.
That's what we were talking about the last video. Just keep your mouth shut and don't say anything.
Dude.
God bless him. God bless him.
Thank you, everybody, for a great show. Thank you for all those that joined us on Facebook. We are 1 minute over. Thank you guys for your input, for everything going over the videos and letting us know how you really feel. Dave, thank you. And with that said, I hand it back over to Donald.
Listen, thank you, Cheech, for doing an awesome job, and thank you guys on the panel for hanging in there with Cheech and going there with him. Thank you so much. Listen, I don't have much to say, but I will ask that Reverend Camp will close us out in prayer.
Yes.
We are thankful for this time of learning and research. We are thankful for information. We thank you for everyone on this panel. We pray that you would watch over every home that's represented and for all those who are viewed. We pray, Lord, as you continue to keep us safe. We pray that decisions that are made in government, that you would have your hand on it, in spite of whatever determination and certainly conclusion that they want to make, that you would have the final say. In Jesus' name, amen.
Yes, God.
Amen.
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 Amen. To our guests on Facebook Live, thank you so much. We'll catch you next week. Amen.